do you have the confidence and the courage to go into these council meetings and do these kinds of comedy routines?
Well, I think when I was a baby, I was dropped on my head a few times. No, seriously, I know I was, and they had to give me a metal crib because I broke through the wooden one. So I think I have some sort of, mental disorder, and that's part of it. That's part of it, because I've gotten a lot of other people. One of the things that I'm most happy about is now I have a lot of like copycats, or I've inspired other people to do this. And there's other crazy people like me, but I guess what separates me is that, to be honest, the reason why I have the courage to do it, I don't know if you know this, Daisy, but I lost my mom to COVID-19. She got COVID. Then, she went to the hospital and they gave her, a remdesivir without my permission, and she ended up dying. And I remember walking into that hospital every day, watching, just watching her sitting in that bed. And that's right before I blew up. And I can kind of go back in my head how terrible it was when I went through that hallway and I just sat there, and everything else compared to that is like nothing. So going in front of a council room full of a bunch of politicians that really don't have our back, it's almost therapeutic in a sense, because I do have so much angst. I am still not well, to say the least. And so, I kind of want to stick it to the system. Because the system really doesn't care about us. They try to give us this illusion that it's right versus left, or that our vote really matters, or that we have control of the system. And really, it's corporations that can buy and sell these politicians. So really, I guess why I have the courage is because A, I'm mad. B, I've went through some traumatic situations that are much, scarier. So I think those are the two main reasons why it's really like water off a duck's back, walking in that room and, trying to make it as awkward as possible.
That's a terribly sad story about your mum, and I'm so sorry that happened. I can't. I mean, you and I are about the same age. I think you're only a couple of years older than me, and I can't even get my head around how horrible that would have been. So, my condolences, and I can imagine. So it was that anger you felt on behalf of your mum and on behalf of the system and what it was doing to us all, that inspired you to engage in that really unique societal critique. It's funny, isn't it? Because the way the left reacts to their anger and their angst is to go and like burn things and riot. But would you say that you instead have just gone down the avenue of trying to make people smile?
Well, I would call it civil disobedience, and that's what I would encourage everybody to do. The next lockdown, the climate lockdown. We can't break the law, because if you look what happened in January 6th here in America, we have what is called agent provocateurs. It was basically a trap. There's a lot of Americans that really cared about our country that did a lot less things than what happened in the Summer of Love during BLM. So my point being is, you have to follow the rules, but also not follow the rules, be non-compliant. So it's kind of a gray area, but at the same time, I think we can do it by going to these city council meetings, by, kind of calling these politicians out to their face, and not wearing a mask or not doing whatever protocol they try to, put in place that we know is nonsense. So being civilly disobedient while still staying under the letter of the law, which I know is hard, but I think that's the only way to, I guess, fight against the New World Order, in my opinion.
Well, it certainly seems to work. And you mentioned sort of not wearing a mask, for instance, in order to stick it to them. But you also have a technique I've noticed of doubling down on their insane rules. I mean, there's this viral clips of you wearing like 5 masks, like all over your face. Is that a tactic as well, do you think? Like just absolutely leaning into it to show how absurd it all is?
That's the only way that I can fight back, because I didn't fly for nearly a year, and because I wouldn't put on a mask. And then I said, you know what, I'm just going to put on 10 masks and just make everybody laugh. And then it went viral. So yeah, I mean, that's the only way to fight back, is to kind of mock the system. And I'm very clown-pilled. It's not that I've lost hope for humanity. I haven't lost hope for humanity, but they mock us constantly. The government constantly is tinkling on us and telling us it's rain. But the problem is, it's like we have to laugh at these people because they're laughing at us. And I know that sounds conspiratorial, but I'm telling you, the people in charge, they really don't care about us. These politicians laugh, and if they did care about us, they wouldn't treat illegal immigrants better than veterans. So that's the only way, is we have to laugh back, and politicians hate being mocked more than anything, in my experience and what I'm doing.